Design You Can Feel, an exhibition in London during the London Design Festival. I'm joined by Colin from Future Facility. Welcome, Kim. Thanks so much for talking to me today, because we are going to discuss this wonderful piece in front of us called Susa, which you designed especially for this exhibition, working with a material that ASUS developed called Ceraluminum. Tell us what you've designed here.
Susa is an AI device, an assistant that is entirely wrapped in Ceraluminum. It has a perforated screen. It slightly suppresses some of the stimulation that we get, and it's really adheres to the principles of COM technology. It's a bit of a provocation about those ideas.
So let's talk about the material, because this stems from a development 4 years that ASUS put into creating Ceraluminum, which for the context of everyone watching is a merging of the words ceramic and aluminium, which I think says a lot. We've been describing it as a ceramicized aluminium. Tell us about the material itself, and indeed what were your first impressions when you encountered it? I brought it to your studio however many months ago to talk about this project. What were some of those initial reactions?
I think what we all did was pet it. Initially, I think we were all just feeling it and wondering what are the possibilities and what are we feeling. Sometimes ceramic can be cold, like a china cup. This is a very different, a much warmer feel, and it's slightly grainy, but the surface is matte. Normally, a Future Facility doesn't start with a material to start a project. I'd say we try to balance all the ideas in a project to try to get an equilibrium between its production, its meaning and culture, its function, its et cetera, et cetera. We don't start normally with a material. And so this was a very different case for us, and it was an interesting experiment. So we used the idea of Ceraluminum, a warmer, more tactile surface, as a way to say, what would it be if we had a handheld device, and that device was an AI device, a guidance device, let's say, or an assistant device. So we thought, well, Ceraluminum offers us this opportunity to make a device that is different in the hand than any other device we've seen. Most devices, as we know, are slick, they're quite shiny, they all have lovely radiuses, they're glossy, and those are, the purpose of them, smartphones, etc., is to take our attention, right? And so we've been talking a lot in the studio about this idea about COM technology, and also my students are thinking about it a lot, younger people are thinking about it a lot, where they're quite conscious that these devices are taking our attention, right? What are they giving? They're giving maybe convenience, guidance, assurance, but they're taking things too. And of course, there's the whole mental health aspect to that too, which I won't go into. Anyway, we said, what an interesting experiment to talk about if a material can actually give a device a different feel that has a different purpose to it. So the purpose and the material started to come together for us, and therefore it's resulted in this Susa device. And as you can see, it's very matte. It has a tactile feel that others don't have. It's not glossy, it's not shiny, and especially the screen, which is the taker, right, takes the attention, is now slightly repressed. A nicer word is probably dampened. A lot of people have said, well, I don't know if I like that I can see high resolution, everything on my phone. This is low resolution, so purposefully low resolution. And it's purposefully, I guess you would say, someone would choose to live with a device like this because they want to dampen that sensibility for themselves. They don't want to be sucked in all the time by the algorithms, etc. So it's a very different point of view.
Yeah. And then in terms of its functionality, of course, there's a concept at this stage, but you have built in some haptic technology as well. In terms of how you interact with the screen. We're used to touching and scrolling on a device like this. Does that still correlate? Is that still a function?
We're used to touching and scrolling on glass, generally. And so this is very different. We're touching and scrolling on something that's much softer and perforated. So you can still see images, you can still see guidance, you can still see navigation, you can still see even graphics that talk about sounds or that somebody's calling, and you can still touch and scroll the screen. But it's just not on glass. And I would say it's maybe It's not physically slower, but I think it's conceptually a bit slower. It's this dampening. Yeah, dampening is the best way I could say it.
So, of course, we're about to debut this during the London Design Festival, and I wanted to get your thoughts on how people might react to the device. What are you hoping will be the response?
I hope people are curious about it. I hope they touch it and think about what it could be and how it's different than what they have, and just let that engage with the mind of all of us as we're on this kind of quick rocket to faster, more convenient everything.
Kim, thank you so much for explaining the project.
Pleasure. Thank you, Max, for having me, and thanks to ASUS for Ceraluminum.